Hi, okay, today we're looking at Module 4, Lesson 16, Write expressions in which letters stand for numbers. Today is actually going to be the exact opposite direction that we did yesterday. Yesterday we looked at expressions and wrote it out in words. Today we're going to look at the words and create expressions, okay? Pretty straightforward. I asked you for you to now to complete the opening exercise where you had to underline the key math vocabulary words in each statement. So let's take a look at the answers. So for A, some and twice. Now let's take that expression and change the expression given in the opening exercise from words to variables and numbers. So looking down at example 1A, it's the same expression. Now that we've underlined those key words, let's write it as an expression. So the sum of twice B and 5. So I have the sum of something and 5. So how would I write twice B?
B to the second power.
Well, B to the second power would be B squared. Twice B means I have two B's. Not multiply, though. Right, so twice B, which means 2 times B plus 5. Okay, so for B on the top, you should have underlined quotient. So now in exercise 2, the quotient of C and D. So how would we write that?
C divided by D.
Right, and we're going to write that as a fraction because now we're using fractions to represent division. For C, you should have underlined power and increased by and product. So now let's change that to variables and numbers. So A raised to the 5th power, so we have A raised to the 5th power, then increased by the product of 5 and C. So how would I represent the product of 5 and C?
5 plus C.
Product. What operation is product?
Multiplication.
Multiplication. So I have to show 5 times C. So I could show that with a coefficient and a variable. Sure, you could underline raised as well.
Wouldn't you also put the parentheses around the 5C because it says by the product of 5?
Well, because when they're side by side, you know that means multiplication. So we don't have to because as far as order of operation goes, so it's okay without it.
No, but
Okay?
because it says like if it's in parentheses, it would go first and then you would do.
But it doesn't have to be first. Okay, so that's okay the way it is. The quantity, so I need the quantity of A plus B divided by 4. So those are the key words you should have underlined. Ladies, work here. Quantity of A plus B divided by 4. So let's show A plus B, and then dividing it by 4. Remember now we show division as fractions. And we could put the parentheses around A plus B, but that's not necessary when we're writing it as a fraction. If we were writing it out left to right, we would need the parentheses, A plus B divided by 4. Okay? Otherwise, you were doing B divided by 4 instead of the sum. 10 less than the product of 15 and C. So since it's 10 less than, we have to have the other amount first. We have to figure out what it is and then know it's 10 less than that. So 10 less than what? The product of 15 and C. So how would I write that? Right. 15C minus 10. Now, for F, you should have underlined times and increased by, because those are the key math vocabulary words. So 5 times D increased by 8. So we have 5 times D increased by 8. Questions on that? Okay. We're going to continue practicing this with real-world scenarios, real-world examples, to create an expression using variables and numbers. You should always make sure that we underline the text to show the key words before writing the expression. So Marcus has $4 more than Yasin. If Y is the amount of money Yasin has, write an expression to show how much money Marcus has. So here are my key words, 4 more. So if he has 4 more than Yasin, how could I write that? Y represents Yasin. Yeah, so we have Yasin's amount plus 4 more, and now I know how much Marcus has. Mario is missing half of his assignments. If A represents the number of assignments, write an expression to show how many assignments Mario is missing. Well, key words would be half. So if A is what he has, and he's missing half, how would we show half of A? Exactly. So we have his assignments divided by 2. Okay? Camila's weight has tripled since her first birthday. If W represents the amount of Camila's weight on her first birthday, write an expression to show how much Camila weighs now. So here are our key words, tripled. So how are we going to show Camila's weight tripled? It is W times 3, but we always put the coefficient first. So 3W. And that means 3 times W or W times 3. Okay? Nathan brings cupcakes to school and gives them to his 5 best friends who share them equally. If C represents the number of cupcakes Nathan brings to school, write an expression to show how many cupcakes each of his friends receive. So we have cupcakes, and we have to share them with the 5 friends. How would we write that? Beautiful. C divided by 5. We write that as a fraction now, because with expressions in algebra, it's easier to show division as a fraction. Mrs. Marcus combines her atlases and her dictionaries. All right, so first we're combining atlases and dictionaries. Then we divide them among 10 different tables. If A represents the number of atlases and D represents the number of dictionaries Mrs. Marcus has, write an expression to show how many books would be on each table.
Let's say 8 times D divided.
Well, first I have my atlases and my dictionaries, so if I'm going to combine them, right, so it would be A plus D. So now I know how many atlases and dictionaries that I have. Then what do? Right, then I divide them by 10. Anybody has a question where some of these numbers are coming from or how we're writing that way, please raise your hand and ask for any of them. Say, whoa, stop, where did that come from? No. To improve in basketball, Ivan's coach told him that he needs to take 4 times as many free throws and 4 times as many jump shots every day. If F represents the number of free throws and J represents the number of jump shots Ivan shoots daily, write an expression to show how many shots he will need to take in order to improve in basketball. So 4 times as many free throws and jump shots. So how would we write that? Alright, well, we want to do so 4 times as many free shots plus 4 times as many jump shots, free throws and jump shots, okay? But how can we write that using fewer symbols? It's 4 times as many free throws and 4 times as many jump shots. Do we see something in common there? What can we do? Right. And this would be your better answer. Okay, 4 times as many free throws and jump shots. And so everybody make sure you have that written in your notes. We okay with that? I'm going to give you a minute now to practice the exercises. There are 10 exercises. Work on them on your own, and then we'll go over them. Okay, let's review our answers for the exercise. Okay, you had to underline the key words decreased and squared. So we have B decreased by C squared. 24 divided by what? By the product of 2 and A. So 24 divided by the product of 2 and A. So quantity of 6 plus, there's a letter missing there, B. So 150 decreased by 6 plus B. We have to have the parentheses there, otherwise we're subtracting only the 6. The sum of, so if I see the sum of, I know I have 2 things. Twice C and 10. So twice C is 2 times C and 10. Marlo had $35 but then spent M dollars. So we had 35 but then spent M. So 35 minus M. For number 6, Samantha saved her money and was able to quadruple the original amount. Quadruple means to multiply by 4, so it's 4M. Veronica increased her grade G by 4 points and then doubled it. So we have her grade. She increased it by 4 and then took that whole thing and doubled it. So her grade plus 4, then doubled it. Advil had M pieces of candy and ate 5 of them. Then he split the remaining candy equally among 4 friends. So we had M pieces of candy minus the 5 that he ate. Then whatever he had left, he divided among his 4 friends. To find out how much paint is needed, Mr. Jones must square the side length of his gate and then subtract 15. So we have the side squared and then subtracting 15. Lewis brought X cans of cola to the party. Faith brought D cans of cola to the party. And Deshawn brought H cans of cola. How many cans of cola did they all bring together? They bring all together. So all together means to add them up. So X plus D plus H, add them all together. Yes. You will have to underline, follow the directions, okay? Underline it and write the expressions.